Who did I offend? Sit back, I'm about to sit back, I'm about to begin. Sit back, I'm about sit back, I'm about to begin. Sit back, I'm about to begin.
All right, what's up, world? Welcome to I Mix What I Like at mixwhatilike.org, at I Mix What I Like for all your relevant social media. Again, I'm Jared Ball, happy to be your host. Last night, word broke that our next guest, longtime activist Ajamu Baraka, had been selected by the Jill Stein campaign to be her vice presidential running mate for the Green Party's nomination for President of the United States. So we, of course, wanted to hear from the man himself once again. So Ajamu Baraka, thanks again for joining us at I Mix What I Like.
Hey, it's my pleasure to be with you once again, Brother Jared.
So now, just quickly for those who may not be familiar, Ajamu Baraka is an internationally recognized human rights activist, organizer, and geopolitical analyst. He is the founding executive director of the U.S. Human Rights Network and coordinator of the U.S.-based Black Left Unity Network's Committee on International Affairs. He has also been a member of the Green Shadow Cabinet, and there's very much more which can be said and learned about Ajamu Baraka, and you can check out his website where you'll learn more about him and his analyses and his work, ajamubaraka.com. And we will, of course, provide a link to his many appearances with us at I Mix What I Like. But first, Ajamu Baraka, not only welcome back, but tell us, what is the Green Party and why this campaign?
Well, the campaign is a response to the real desire on the part of millions of people for alternative power, for building something outside of the two parties. It's quite clear that people understand and feel that their lives are not what they should be. Millions of people are still suffering from the collapse of the neoliberal order from 2008. Are addressing those material realities. There's a sense that the country is adrift. And in the light of that, they say the two parties are not offering anything that's different. So people are looking for an alternative. This is a moment unlike almost any moment in the last 150 years of this country. So there's a real possibility for a breakthrough, for breaking the grip of the two-party monopoly here in this country. And we're going to make sure that we can facilitate that process to the extent that we can.
I definitely want to come back to this question of the differences between the Democrat and Republican parties and a lot of the pushback that you already know you're going to get from those who are supporting Hillary. But I first wanted to ask you this question because most of those who do know you associate you with the liberation struggles of African people throughout the hemisphere, spanning the total so-called Americas and beyond. How does this campaign with the Green Party and with Jill Stein fit into that work in particular? In other words, what is the relationship between the Green Party campaign that you all are running and those liberation struggles for African people throughout the hemisphere and beyond, that, again, with the struggles that you are most familiarly associated with?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a very good question. I mean, one of the things that all oppressed people have to do is to continue the process of organizing. Building an alternative force in the U.S. That can have influence with the policies of the state is absolutely necessary for supporting the struggles of our people throughout the Americas. This next phase of what's going to happen in the Americas in terms of U.S. policy is very important. We know that with a Trump win or even a Clinton win, the subversive activities of the U.S. state will continue. So there is a direct connection between our attempt or our ability to shift power and to alter the policies of the U.S. state with the objective needs and interests of oppressed people, in particular African people, throughout the Americas. So there's no contradiction. In fact, there's a fundamental connection. It's about building alternative, progressive, radical power. And that's what this campaign is all about. This campaign is about us having a conversation around how do we relate to the state? How do we maximize the ability of the people to influence policy? How do we build a movement powerful enough to basically seize elements of the state. So, my selection by Jill Stein in the campaign, I think, is an expression of the commitment that the campaign has to radical politics and a radical solution. And they understand that where I'm coming from, and I think they support the notion that all of these various struggles are interconnected, but that the linchpin is here in the U.S. in the middle of empire.
I just wanted to take a quick look at the Green Party platform that people can see at jill2016.com. And start with this question that a lot of African descended people in this country and around the world really are struggling with in terms of criminal justice, mass incarceration, of course, police brutality. And just looking at the Green Party platform, the first thing that I noticed up there is that they want to end the failed war on drugs. They want to have nonviolent drug offenders taken out of prison. They call specifically for an end of police brutality and mass incarceration. This is all part of the core element of your campaign, including a lot of economic and rights for working people. Freedom and equality for all different communities, LGBTQ. We know, Trump struggled even saying that the other day, getting those words out. But, but I bring that up to say that, one, to invite people to check out the platform so they're at least familiar with what the Green Party is and its difference, particularly being a non-corporate funded political party that may allow for a kind of political, a kind of politics and implementation of a kind of politics that you can't get in the dominant parties. But again, a lot of the pushback that we know you're going to get is going to come from Hillary supporters, saying that, if a vote for Jill and Ajamu is going to be a vote for Trump, and Trump represents a level of rise of a new fascism that we haven't seen, and people are loose, I think, at least, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on this, with comparisons to Mussolini and Hitler. But I'm wondering what your response is going to be to that, to the conditions that we face, the claimed fears surrounding Trump, and this idea that you'll be giving votes to Trump. And defending, a party that can't win while blocking someone who can win and who, for many, is in Hillary Clinton, is very different from.
Very, very good question, and of course we will get that kind of pushback. There is a real concern about Trump. The Trump campaign does represent a collection of very dangerous social forces, no question about that. But people have to be reminded that there are elements within the within the Republican orbit that were to the right of Trump. What we say basically is that we understand that people are suffering. We understand the fear that's been generated regarding Trump. Trump has basically added to that, given ammunition to that because of his bombastic and racist comments. But we say, folks, we have to be about building alternative power. We have to understand that the struggle for radical transformation is a protracted one. We've got to look medium term and long term, and that if we're not able to build alternative power to begin to shift power back to the masses, then we're going to find ourselves every 4 years with the same formulation. Oh, we have to mobilize behind the corporate Democrats because what we have on the right is even more dangerous. Look, we can't play that game any longer. That is a losing hand. And on top of that, Jared, even the corporate Democrats have a long-term strategy that basically they have committed themselves that they are willing to lose an election in order to avoid having to respond to a working class agenda. They understood very clearly. All the polls said that the one candidate that could, in fact, defeat Trump with no problem was who? Bernie Sanders. But yet the corporate Democrats, the establishment, was prepared to lose the election, and is prepared to lose their election by supporting this neoliberal Hillary campaign. So, if they're prepared to lose in order to maintain their hegemony, then we should be prepared to basically do what we need to do to advance our agenda, and that allows us to be herded back onto the Democratic plantation. Now, it's a scary proposition, but the notion that, for example, African people should be afraid of some Donald Trump after all of what we've been through for the last few hundred years in this country is absurd. We have survived it all, and we have survived a Donald Trump. We will survive a neo-fascism. So I come out of, and you come out of a tradition where basically we're not afraid of no Donald Trump. We understand what needs to be done to build real popular power, and we're prepared to do it.
Just very quickly, in the last couple of minutes we have, I know the question's going to come up already. A lot of the pushback that I've seen over the years to people joining the Green Party, particularly world majority folks, that is black and brown and working people and women, is that the Green Party is white and crusty. And then this might be perceived as another attempt to like the other parties do, bring in another token black man or woman in some cases to mask the white supremacist nature of the party itself. And I'm not certainly going to deny that we've experienced racism within the Green Party and that no party is perfect. But I'm wondering what your response to that is going to be now and over the next few months.
That's going to come up, but I think that I have enough of a history and understanding for folks to know that Ajamu Baraka and tokenism just don't go together. And so, again, I think the commitment by Jill Stein and the campaign to a authentic radical, black radical, suggests that they're prepared to continue this revolutionary process. So we say that the party is open, that there is space for participation. It's not just about those of us at the top of the ticket. It's about how we build alternative power, how we relate to the electoral process. We say that throughout the country, black folks and others who are tired of being on the Democratic plantation, that there is the possibility of us having an alternative. Let's look at that. Let's repopulate that alternative structure. As we go forward in building the kind of dual power we have to build here in this country, Jared, for long-term radical transformation. So the Green Party is still white, but where do you start transforming that? There's a few of us who've been involved with this process for a while, and we understand it takes time and effort. But what other alternatives do we have? It doesn't mean we abandon the need for independent black organizing, independent Latino structures, but we have to build a powerful, radical social bloc of all of the oppressed here in the U.S.
Well, Ajamu Baraka, again, congratulations. We look forward to the campaign. Thank you for joining us here at I Mix What I Like. And as Fred Hampton used to say, to you we say peace if you're willing to fight for it. So peace to you and to all of our listeners and viewers. And good luck, my man.
Thank you, my brother. We're going to go forward and make some history.
What would you do if a vicious enemy suddenly started coming at you, armed to the teeth and ready to kill you?
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.